But I think as women, if you want to be known for what you do, if you want to share your passion, because you created your brand, your business, your product, your service, because you saw something missing in the marketplace, or you wanted to help a loved one, why would you stop after you've built that with your blood, sweat, tears, and money? All you have to do is promote it now. Why would you stop at the part where you get to share what you've built, what you worked so hard with, like your art in essence, with the people who could really benefit from it? It kind of seems selfish when you reframe it that way.
Welcome to the She Roars podcast, where women rise in their voices, leadership, and calling. My name is Jennifer Ortiz, and we are here in Jacksonville, Florida at the Besties Boardroom Conference with amazing women who are making such an impact in their business, entrepreneurship, and being female founders and making such an impact in their communities and the people that they serve. And I have an amazing special guest here. And can you introduce yourself, say your name, and what is your work behind the mission you do?
Sure. My name is KJ Blattenbauer. I'm a powerhouse publicist who helps cool people and bold brands get the recognition they deserve, whether it's more attention that they need, more conversions, more sales. I'm their girl to help them use earned media and other people's borrowed lanes to get there.
That is wonderful. And also congratulations on your new book that you just released called Pitchworthy that made a #1 new release on Amazon. Congrats.
Thank you.
That is just so amazing. Can you share a little bit about your book and what is the purpose and the vision behind it?
Sure. So I've spent nearly 28 years in public relations, 14 of which I've had my own agency, and I've worked in big agencies, small agencies, corporate America, crisis communication all over the world. I've worked with athletes and celebrities, but small business owners, female founders, especially the ambitious female founders with big dreams and big goals. I found that traditional public relations doesn't serve them, and definitely traditional PR firms don't serve them. They need visibility in a different way. And so I created the book that's literally the playbook for here's how you go from zero to the known authority in your industry. Because I think as women, too often we are told, you can rise, but you can't reign. We're taught that if we just do good work, it'll speak for itself. And there couldn't be anything further from the truth. If you don't promote what you're doing, if you don't talk about what you're passionate about, if you don't step up and into the spotlight and say, hey, I'm the expert in this, or I'm the leader in that, no one is going to give it to you. It doesn't fall into your lap. You have to chase what you want if you want to build what you want. And so Pitchworthy is a step-by-step guide on how to do that, how to achieve the right amount of visibility, the right type of authority to move your business, your brand, your passion forward.
Oh, so good. That is amazing. And speaking about visibility, and this is something that I so speak about in my podcast and women that are listening, is to come out of hiding and release their roar, to release their voices. If not, people are not going to find them. So let's talk about the visibility part, about women being afraid to be seen. Can you share about how can women overcome that fear of visibility and being seen so that way they can really pursue the calling and really build a business that they're called to do and not shrink back anymore?
Well, I think the first thing they need to do is they need to sit and get quiet and realize, what are they so worried about? Because as anyone who's ever gone to therapy will tell you, the first thing their therapist tells them is it's nobody's business what other people thinks about us. I like to say that I don't take constructive criticism from someone who's never constructed anything. Because once you build anything in business and you see a little bit of success, everybody's going to have an opinion. Like, they didn't help you succeed. Why do they get an opinion? Why do you care? You build a business and then you see the mirror of how other people feel about themselves. It has nothing to do with you at all, but you make them feel small. You make them feel like they can't do anything. You make them feel lazy or incapable. That's problems for them. Those aren't problems for you. So I think the first thing is to get quiet and realize, why do I care if Becky down the street has something to say? Why do I care if those girls from high school are judging what I'm posting? Those things, at the end of the day, they aren't going to matter. And if they do matter to you, there's nothing wrong with going to therapy to work through it. I've gone to therapy to work through it as someone who's from a very small town. But I think as women, if you want to be known for what you do, if you want to share your passion, because you created your brand, your business, your product, your service, because you saw something missing in the marketplace, or you wanted to help a loved one, why would you stop after you've built that with your blood, sweat, tears, and money? all you have to do is promote it now. Why would you stop at the part where you get to share what you've built, what you've worked so hard with, like your art in essence, with the people who could really benefit from it? It kind of seems selfish when you reframe it that way.
It does really seem selfish about it, because it's you just thinking about yourself.
Right.
And not thinking about the people that's connected with you to make such an impact, because you hold the keys to their freedom, to their healing, to their breakthrough, and for them to go to their next level. And it's getting ourselves out of our minds, out of our heads.
1000%.
Because if not, we just keep feeling stuck.
True. And I think what people don't realize is I don't like the sound of my own voice. No one likes the sound of their own voice, right? I listen to every single podcast back, not because I'm critiquing what I said, not because I'm critiquing how I sounded, not because of those things. I want to listen to what I said to see if it was helpful. Is this really what people need to learn? I want to be better at that. I also think it's rude if you're on someone's podcast and you don't listen to it, because why would you not contribute to the downloads and the listening? It's just poor form. But you have to take yourself out of it. It's not about you. It's what the listener can take away from it. It's what they can learn from it. You don't have to like being on camera, but even at your cringiest moment, even if I tripped over all my words and you couldn't hear what I was saying because of my Invisalign, and I said something really stupid, or I didn't come across right to your audience, even my cringiest day, there's going to be a listener out there where it's the spark that ignites something in them that's going to change, not change their life to be dramatic, but start them on the trajectory of change, to show them that they can do it. And I think people forget it's not about you. It's about service. You created something to come from a place of service. And when you decide it's from a place of service, go serve.
Yes, a heart of posture of servanthood. That is key. It's not about gaining or taking, but serving and helping. I love how you frame that. Amazing. And what was the moment for you in your journey where you had to stop shrinking or playing it safe and truly owning your voice?
Oh, I feel like there's been so many in different forms as I've gotten older. I think it was the corporate review where they told me I was too passionate or I cared too much. And like, instead of the 3% review they could have given me, they were going to give me a 1% because Steve in marketing found me difficult to work with because I voiced my opinion when I had one, or something like that. I think that was like a straw that broke my back, where I was like, you know what, corporate America, I don't need you. I don't have a plan. I don't know what I'm doing next. I'll go start my own thing. And then I started my own thing, and it's been great for 14 years, right? I think when you get older too, you stop caring what other people think. You stop putting other people first in the taking care of everyone else and not having enough for your own cup. You start thinking about, what do I really want to do with my life? What do I really have for my goals? And for me, it was a couple of years ago, I was getting a client ready to go on the Today Show. We were having problems doing her makeup because she just kept crying. She was so excited. She's like, this is going to change my life. And I'm like, yeah, it's really going to change your life. She's like, I can't calm down. I'm like, well, you have to, or you can't go out there and we can't change your life. You know? Yeah. And she just said, I don't think you realize how important it is for me that you're putting me out there. Even when I'm not ready, it's going to change my life. And as she was out there, she killed it. It did change her life. So proud of her. But I realized that the moment that truly kickstarted the new version of me, the one you're seeing now, is I've spent my whole career hiding behind a camera, making other people famous, doing exactly what I tell people not to do. I've let the work speak for itself. It's been amazing. I've gotten people every placement they've ever wanted. I've never spent any time treating myself like a client. And 2 years ago, I started to treat myself like a client and schedule my stuff. And it's been a huge difference in my spirit and how I show up and how I serve my clients. It feels nice. It's not about putting yourself first, but treating yourself like you're one of your clients feels amazing.
So good. And that's something too, I realized that women who are entrepreneurs, they easily build other people's visions.
Yep.
But if it was our own, there's a struggle there.
Yeah. And then you don't do as good of a job because you're working on everyone else. And then you have, between working on everyone else's stuff, and if you're mom, kid stuff, or if you have a partner or spouse work, and that, like, you're stretched 14 different ways. And by the time you can get to work on your business, your dreams, what you want to do, you have no energy, and you want to just sit in front of bad reality TV and have a glass of wine and like 5 seconds of peace. That's not fair to you. No, that's not fair to what you're building. But if you treat yourself like one of your clients and you schedule time during your workday for yourself, it's not taking away from your family. It's not taking away from your partner. It's not taking away from hobbies or friends or the much needed rest that you need to be good at what you do. You're treating yourself like a client. You're scheduling time for yourself to get your things done. Your thing is getting just as much attention as your client's thing. And you're going to be so much better because you're showing up for yourself. You're going to be proud. Confidence is going to come from that, but you're also going to be better for your clients.
And I know that some of the listeners are probably feeling guilty when they do that. It's like they put
1000%.
themselves, it seems so selfish, or I'm putting myself first, and, you know, saying no, and people pleasing on top of that.
1000%.
That's a huge one that I know I struggled before a lot about the fear of saying no and the fear of offending other people. But it's, if you keep worrying about what other people are going to think, you're never going to do it.
No, you're not. But it's also airplane rules.
Yeah.
If something happens in the airplane, it's your mask first, then help everyone else. Because if you can't get oxygen on the airplane, you can't be of service to anyone else. Like, you're of no help for anyone else, right? Very dark way to describe it. But if you aren't working on your stuff in your business, product, service, whatever it is, you're going to start getting bitter. You're going to be tired. You're going to be burnt out. It's going to carry over into everything that you do. And then it's going to become a question of, well, now what do I do? Because I am this crabby old lady that didn't get to achieve her dreams. Like, why? Why would you do that yourself? Schedule time. It doesn't have to be a lot. Like, I started small. 15 minutes a night is what started my podcast tour for my latest book. And within a month, I had 165 booked podcast appearances. Wow. So you just have to make, and I did it all while watching Real Housewives, and I had a glass of wine in my hand, and it was 15 minutes a night, maybe an hour the most at a week. So you can make the time if it's important to you. You just have to treat yourself like a client.
Yes, so good. And we think that it will take so much time, but like you said, it was only 15 minutes on your nightly routine to pitch yourself and be on so many podcasts to be able to share about your book and your expertise. And now you're changing lives, women to be able to really step out and be visible and not be afraid to come out and be in social media and really share their services or their business. And what are some of your suggestions or recommendations for someone, a woman that wants to start off and to be visible, right? And what ways beginners they can do in the meantime so that way they can step up the ladder or pitch themselves for brand deals or podcast or even pitch themselves about their books.
Yeah, the first thing, these are so basic. They're going to be like, oh, these aren't revolutionary. They're not revolutionary, but it is crucial to moving yourself forward, having visibility at any level. First, you got to get your house in order. You have to have what's on your website, what's on your social media profiles, what's on third-party sites that promote you or might have your bio, has to have the same headshots throughout, or at least the same color scheme, right? Branding has to be on, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not asking to spend millions of dollars. Have the same color. So like when people see me, hot pink's my thing, like they know it's my thing. The wording, the links, everything has to be the same. The quickest way to lose a client, the quickest way to lose a brand deal, the quickest way to lose trust is if someone Googles you and everything's all over the board. Right. Not even how it looks, but what it says. Because if you can't get that aligned, they're not going to trust you with their money. They're not going to trust you with their partnerships. They're not going to want you in their store doing a pop-up or a promotion. And so if I reach out to you and it's January, but you're sharing links from Memorial Day of last year, like I'm never going to trust you with my money. So you got to get your house in order. That's one. The second thing is you have to be super honest about what is your real goal? What do you want to achieve? And you can't be embarrassed to admit it. Like, what's the thing you really wanted to do? Last year, mine was, I want to write a book. I want it to be a bestseller. Like I had the vision of what I want it to be. And then the next step after I knew what that big goal was, what audience is going to help me get there? Who's my target audience for this book? Big goal decided, figure out who my target audience is. And then the next thing is, how do I reach that target audience? Because I don't have a ton of energy. I have to treat myself like a client. How am I going to find them? What are they reading? What are they watching? What are they listening to? I am only going to focus my energy there because then that's how I reach that target audience, which is going to help me reach my goal. I could do a million other things for vanity metrics. Why would I waste my time on that when I know exactly where my people are? Go to where your people are, make the sales, make the deals. That's how things multiply. That's how you reach your goal. So get your house in order, know what your real goal is, identify your target audience, and then figure out where they're hanging out. That's who you pitch to. That's who you send things to. That's who you promote to.
And that's something I learned too, is hang out where your audience is. Go where they're shopping. Go where they're hanging out. Don't go to the usual where your friends are hanging out. If that's not your target audience. Your family, your friends, they're not your target audience. It's outside of that. So it's really coming out of your comfort zone. And know you belong in the room. because I know so many women, they struggle of entering into rooms that are more high level and they feel like imposter syndrome. They feel like they don't belong there, but it's to break off those limited beliefs and know where your audience is hanging out, and at the same time knowing what they and meeting them where they at.
Yeah. I mean, you touched on it. You can't depend on your friends. If your business depends on your friends and family to keep it afloat, you don't have a business. You have a hobby, right?
Yeah.
Your friends and family, they're going to support you how they know to support you. And some might do nothing because they don't know how to show up for you. You haven't trained them how to show up for you. But you can't depend on those people. You have to go. You created your product, your service. You opened your store, not for your friends and family to come hang out with you. Like, yeah, it's cool if they'd be at your restaurant, but also you want the general public in your restaurant. Like, find the people who want Italian food on Friday nights, made from scratch. Those are your people. Bring them in. Your family can also come too if there's like an open reservation.
It's funny for me because sometimes we can't even put the business as a hobby, and we don't see the money or the finances growing because it's like, what is going on? But it's like when you treat it as a hobby and not a real business. So how can we change our mindset from hobby to real, like, this is my business and I'm not here to play games, to really build into a generational wealth system for the family and for those around us?
Well, I think you have to be serious about the business, right? You have to set aside the time for it. You have to have your administrative stuff in order, right? Like legal, LLC, all that sort of stuff. It has to be in order. I think you have to protect what's your proprietary information. And I think you also have to know your cost of goods, basic economics, know your cost of goods, know what you need to do to cash flow, those sorts of things. You have to treat it seriously, not just like, I'm going to girl boss this because it looks good on Instagram. Like there has to be business. There has to be a way to scale. You have to know how to promote yourself. There has to be certain steps. Like we can all play whatever we want to play on social media, you know? And yeah, you can probably get along for years that way, but at some point the economy is going to dip. People are going to fall out of favor. You've seen it recently, like cupcakes were a huge trend, and now all the cupcake places are shutting down. You know, there are some cupcake places that are going to stay open because they've actually gone where their customers are. They aren't just riding the trend. They're not just Instagramming new cupcakes. Like they've innovated, added things, figured out who their people are. That's what we all have to do ourselves if we want to be taken, I don't want to say taken seriously, if you want to take your business seriously. If you just want to have there's nothing wrong with having a hobby business, but you have to be serious about like, that's never going to fund your dreams. You know, if you have private jet, fancy cars, the latest handbag, taking your girlfriends to Paris dreams, a hobby business is not going to get you there.
No, it's not going to get there at all. At all. No. And what are those women, especially that are feeling like there's a plateau in their business? They have grown the system, they have grown the foundation, but they're just feeling like that stuckness. Okay, I already have a 5-6-figure business and I want to go beyond and go to the $1 million brand. But they're feeling this plateau about it. What are your suggestions in regards to getting unstuck from that?
I think what takes you to your first $100,000 makes you a 6-figure business is not what makes you a 7-figure business. It's different processes, it's different people. You got to make sure your operating systems can scale. And then once you get to 7 figures, what's going to get you to 8, those things might have to change. You have to be willing to adapt. You have to pay attention to it. You also have to be honest with yourself. Okay, growing something from scratch to 6 figures, amazing. Growing something from scratch to 7 figures, great. If you feel stalled out, are you stalled out because it's your people? Are you stalled out because it's your process? Or are you stalled out because you're not the person to lead it anymore? Or are you stalled out because you're not as passionate about it anymore? Which isn't wrong. Like, you can have a great, thriving, amazing, successful business, and you can wake up one day and be like, this isn't for me anymore. I've shut the doors on businesses because of that I've had partnerships that I've had because it's not what I want to do. You know, wasn't anything wrong with it. And then I either sell out, I get my equity back, or I sell the business, or I spin it off, or I shut it down. But you have to decide what you're passionate about, because if you're not in there willing to tinker and see what needs to be fixed to move it to the next level, you're not the person that should be in there.
Right. And it's also like discerning if that's your season is done over there in that business, or even shutting that door and reopening another door, or opening a new door, completely new, a new route that you probably was not expecting or anything like that. Right. Yes, that's so good. And as a PR expert, what are some areas that people tend to overlook to pitch themselves and probably yes, we could pitch ourselves in podcasting and social media. And I know you mentioned one of the sessions about borrowing other people's audience, which I love. And if you can share a little bit about that. But what are some other areas that people tend to overlook? Like, oh, I never thought about pitching myself to so-and-so.
Right. Well, I think there's the traditional media, right? Like it's newspapers, it's television. Now there's podcasts. You could guest blog posts on someone's blog that they have just on their website. Everyone can have Substacks now. Like you can become the most entertaining person and be live all the time on YouTube or one of the social media platforms. But I also think that you can just take over someone's podcast. You can do a short run podcast if you feel like it. There's also, like you do, you go to brands and you do podcast pop-ups, which no one else does. It's amazing. Like, I'd love to go into Joe Malone and be like, oh, and there's my favorite podcaster. This is going to be the best day ever, right? Like, you have, wherever your audience is, you should be showing up in that capacity. Like, you don't have to be in tons of magazines. You don't have to go and promote podcasts. But like, if I'm going to conferences, I'm going to reach out to every single tool I use every single day in public relations. I'm going to pitch myself to be sponsored by them. Because you know what they need? Someone at these conferences promoting all their services. I mean, we're at a conference now with tons of women. There are brands like High Level, there's people here from Entreprenista. Those are organizations or tools that are perfect for what we're doing. Why wouldn't your podcast microphone person? Why wouldn't Riverside, the platform? Why wouldn't a lighting company? Why wouldn't they want to sponsor someone to have a podcast room like this where they can podcast? So then when I look, I'm like, I need to have those mics when I set up my podcast studio. So you can be pitching yourself to brands that way and be innovative. Who would have thought, like, you know what I think I need? Innovative ways to use your influence, your business sense to make sense for your business.
Right. So good. So good. And it also makes me think about collaborations, which is so key in starting business and collaborating in some way, some form. How do you know who is the right person to collaborate in your stage of starting into your business or in the middle or trying to elevate to the next level?
You have to have the same audience with the same goals, or you have to have similar audiences where it can benefit. Like, it doesn't make any sense for me as a public relations professional. Well, I mean, I can partner with anyone. I can promote anything. So maybe I'm a bad example. It doesn't make sense for you to partner with a direct competitor, right?
Right.
Because you're not going to have two tax and accounting firms together being like, hey, Taxapalooza, come get your taxes done. You can come to Jim's desk or my desk. Like, I don't know, maybe it would work. It's weird. I don't think that would be a good thing. I think you have to look for someone who their hustle has to match your hustle. You have to have very clearly defined, written in black and white roles, like, this is my part of this partnership. This is your part of this partnership. Not to ruin everything with a legal document, but like, you got to protect yourself in any partnership. But it should be mutually beneficial. Like, what am I getting out of this? What are you getting out of this? That sort of thing. So both of us feel good at the end of the day that it does something. And it also has to broaden the audience. If you and I have the exact same audience, what is the point of us collaborating? It's two of us talking to the same people. But if you have an audience that is one I don't touch, that benefits me. And if I have an audience you don't touch, that benefits you. Those are the best partnerships. And I think it also matters, especially in this day and age, you don't have to have the same value system, but you have to be somewhere close. Right? We don't have to be political, but we should be mindful of who you are, always very important.
Yes, to share the same core values or similar.
Right.
Because it's like a covenant. You're creating a covenant with someone, especially in business, it's the same way, to just being careful to call your business partner, or to collaborate with,
or to take investor funding from.
Yeah,
because if my business is going down in a burning pile of flames, I better be the one that lit the match. I didn't go into business to achieve everything I did and work myself to the bone to have what I have, to have someone else wipe that out like a house of cards.
Yes, or take it away.
Yeah, you got to protect yourself, and always.
Always, such a good point. I'm also thinking about the person that says, I don't know how to pitch myself. I know you got this question so many times, like, how to pitch myself? Not over-explaining or overdoing, or I pitch myself for so bad. I sent emails, 20 emails, and I get crickets, ignored, and unread. So I just give up. People get disappointed, get discouraged. What are some really strategic ways to really pitch yourself to get collaborations and like responses and really engage?
So this is a horrible analogy, but I feel like it's going to resonate quickly with everyone. you have to reset your mind first, because so many people think pitching's like, I'm going to throw it out there. Editor's they're sitting waiting for my email. They're going to immediately respond. Next day I'm going to be on television. Next day I'm going to be in print. It's like when you hit the gym on January 1st and you think you're going to be Gwyneth Paltrow or Jennifer Aniston by January 3rd. Like, that is not, or like me, if I have French fries and a salad instead of French fries and a burger, I think that that's better for me. No, that neither one of them is a healthy meal that is nutritious for any, right? But I'll keep doing it. So pitching's the same way. It is a marathon, not a sprint. Visibility can take time, but you have to do it the right way, strategically. And even one quality press hit is going to be better than 15 that don't matter. So the first thing you need to do, identify what your goal is. Like we talked about it. Then identify who your target audience that can get you the goal. Then we figured out where those people are, right? If it's podcasts, if it's whatever, find five media outlets. Go to Google, put in your area of expertise or what your product or service is, hit search on Google, go to the tab at the top that says news. That's going to show you the outlets that are covering your area of expertise, what you want to be known for. Make a list of 5 or 10. Don't even go over 5 or 10. Find those journalists, send them a pitch. Have it be 5 or 7 sentences. Who you are, what you do, why it matters to them or their audience, right this second. That's it. 5 to 7 sentences, not War and Peace, not like the longest TLDR, just 5 or 7 sentences. Who you are, what you do, why it matters to their audience right now. Send it. If you don't hear back from them in 5 to 7 days, forward on that same email. Switch the FW to follow up. Then have one sentence underneath that says, hello, whatever their name is, wanted to follow up with the information below. One more fact about why it matters to their audience right now. Not about you, not your marketing, not any of that stuff. Why it matters to their audience right now. Send it. I have a 75% open and return placement rate on my follow-ups because people get busy. I want to respond to people right away. Every email I get, even if it's a great one, even if it's a bad one, but we get busy, things get buried. Reporters are getting so many emails. Newsrooms are so poorly staffed. They get overwhelmed. They're not sitting there waiting for your email, which is what we all anticipate. Like, I'm going to send this. Some 55-year-old white dude's just sitting there in a tie and a cigar, ready to, decide if he's going to cover me or not cover me. No, it's probably Becky, and she's probably doing 15 things covering stuff for 17 reporters, and she didn't see yours. So send it that second time. And if you don't hear about that second time, wait another week, 5 or 7 days, follow up again. If on the third time you haven't heard back from someone, it means a couple things. They didn't see your email because they're busy. It's not the right angle for the story. They aren't going to cover it, or they're not the right person. So just tweak a few things and try again. You're already at a no before you pitch, right? You're not getting what you want. You're not getting the placement. You're at the no. Sending that email is data for you. Rejection isn't, oh my God, this is horrible. Burn this business down. No one's ever going to cover me. Go cry in a pill for a day. It's data. It's research. This works. This doesn't. This person's interested. They're not. Use it as learning curves. You're already at no from the beginning. The only place to go is up.
I really hope y'all taking notes on this because seriously, these are gems. This is like we have a mastermind right now because this is so good in regards to not getting discouraged and really have patience in the process. And I know you mentioned also not to attach media kit.
No.
On the emails.
Newsrooms can't, and I don't even post. So many people put their logo or they paste their photo at the end of their email. Don't even have no attachment whatsoever. Newsrooms cannot accept anything with an attachment. If there's spam, they view it as a virus. Their systems automatically kick that out because they're worried about what's getting sent. If you need to send something, images, a media kit, stats, facts, a video, Google Drive, Dropbox, put the link in there. Let them know very clearly where that link is leading them and include that in your 5 to 7 sentences.
So good. And this can work with TV shows, anything. Yeah. So there's no excuses, ladies. There is no excuses to put yourself out there and start pitching and getting these emails. Because even I know there's a platform also that you can search the person's email if there's a hard time to find it. What is that website?
You can pay money and do one like Muckrack. I don't. Or you can pay, I think there's a tool where you can do so many of them for a month, 5 or 10, which is more than you need to do to start. And it's like $1. And then that's called Rocket Reach.
Okay, Rocket Reach. Good to know as well, because I know you also release your workbook.
Yes.
But I'm so excited. I got my workbook because I'm going to start working on it. And that is also available on Amazon, that you can do it with the book. as well. So what is the difference between the workbook and the actual book so that way they can know?
So the book, Pitchworthy, the book, is going to teach you the basic tenets of public relations, why it matters, talk you into, hey, here's how we reset the mind to get over all the nerves. But it's going to teach you, no matter what your industry is, no matter where you are in your industry, these are the basic tenets of public relations. Here's why they matter. Here's how you use them. Here's how you don't use them. Follow these guides. The workbook is step-by-step going to walk you through the actual work to make that information actionable. It's everything I've learned in 28 years of public relations.
Wow. And you can get it on Amazon and start working on that workbook and the message and getting clear on the messaging, which is so key, which I learned during the process. If the audience is not clear on what you do,
they can't buy from you.
They can't. They're so confused about what you do. So that is so important on that.
And there's in the workbook and the book, it'll walk you through exactly how to do it.
Awesome. That is so good. And thank you for providing that as well. Any last minute of comments or advice or encouragement for the women that are listening right now that you want to share to really pivot them to the next level?
Yeah, I want them to know they need to step into the spotlight. They're very big deals. They've created something. They've developed something, whether it's tangible or it's a service, whether it's a place that you go in and shop or eat. You created something that's awesome. You should be very proud of that. You should share that. Visibility and putting yourself out there, it's not vanity. It's actually a leadership skill. Embrace that. Work on that. Treat it like it's a muscle. One pitch here, another pitch there. Let that visibility, those media hits snowball and compound. You're going to see a huge shift in how your industry perceives you, how your clients perceive you, how you start perceiving yourself.
Yes, noted. And I receive it from myself too, because this is the year 2026 to become visible and stop hiding. Okay, so thank you so much for coming to the She Roars podcast and being a special guest. Thank you for sharing your expertise and about your book and your workbook, which I'm so excited to dive in. And thank you, ladies, for joining as well. And can you share your website and where they can find you and social media?
Yep, my website is hearsaypr.com. That's HEARSAYPR.com. And you can find me on social media at KJ Blattenbauer on Instagram. That's KJBLATTENBAUER.
And I will also attach as well the Amazon links for her book and her workbook as well in the description of this podcast. So that way you can go and support and follow her and start pitching those brand deals, because I know you want stuff and you're wanting stuff. So thank you so much again for listening, and thank you again. And remember, ladies, and remember, queens, to come out of hiding and release your roar. I'll see you in the next one.